As you know, Arena is pretty awesome, but you can get... Oh, can you turn that down just a little bit? With Arena, there is a bit of a curve, a little bit of RNG, as well as just a lot of skill. So I'm going to cover all of these dice, put them in S through D, and then give a quick little snippet as to how they are good and some of the dice that you're looking for to synergize with them. I'll close that door. All right, let's party. So we're going to do these in order. We're going to start with the absorb dice here. Absorb dice, potential just not that great. If you get some good slows or walls, you can definitely use it, but it's just one of those dice in terms of value. Almost every other value dice is just better. So this guy's going to go in C. We're just going to put him in C class. He's not good. Not much to say about absorb. We're going to go in order assassin. Great dice, could literally just win you the game in the beginning. Playing against anybody of skill, it falls off significantly. Being able to merge and dodge it and all that other goodies makes it a lot worse, as well as if the games go late and you get a high pip assassin, you just cry when you roll a 4 pip assassin and you're just like, I can't do anything with it. Synergies with this, of course, will be your rainbow, your mimic. I used to call it rainbow, now it's mimic, your jokers. Those work really well. Anti-synergies will be random growth, because you can just grow into like a 6 or a 7 pip assassin, and then you just hate yourself. But assassin, we're going to put up in the A tier. It's legendary, it's strong, and yeah, you can just win games just from a war of attrition. So yeah, assassin's there. Atomic is good. It's very strong, percent-based HP damage is always good. The downside to Atomic in Arena is you have to have high value to make it good. A 1 pip and 2 pip just doesn't work well with Atomics, and anybody who's played a lot of Arena knows that games don't really go 3rd, 4th boss deep, and they don't really give you a chance to get a high pip count on your Atomic to get really good value out of the orbs. Its base damage just isn't that great. So for Atomic, I put him in the B tier. Good if you got jokers, if you have bounty, if you have sacrifice, just not great if you're already about to leak early on and you just have like 5 of them with 1 pips orbiting, you're not going to kill anything. Well, you're not going to kill anything fast enough to stay alive. Blizzard. It's pretty self-explanatory. Global freeze and slow. It just is. It's so good. It's easily the best crowd control die in the game, especially for game modes like Arena, where it's just a pure rush. You're not doing anything special, razzle dazzle. There's a lot of games that come down to the boss. You know, you leak the second boss, you kill all the minions, and then the third boss comes, and then you both leak the second boss, and then you both clear all the minions, and then the third boss comes, and you both leak the third boss. It's who leaks first. Blizzard's an S tier. That die is just absolutely crazy. It's so good. Like, it's absolutely ridiculously good. The rock, the boulder, he's awesome. One of the newer dice. Super good in Arena, and here is why. Being able to just make sure that your board is nice and clear before the boss comes gives you a leg up against the boss, because obviously less health on the boss means more, or faster kills on him. It also means more money in your pocket if you're not entering the boss with a bunch of minions on your board that haven't been killed, so you tend to get more value with the boulder. Also, its damage is pretty decent. You can upgrade it well because it is an epic dice, rare epic, or sorry, unique is what Random Dice calls it. It is a unique die, so it does scale really well coming out of class 7. The downside to Boulder is you run into a lot of times where you have boulders and you don't want boulders, and you're just like, cool, I got a 4-pip boulder, but I need something that actually kills the big minion, the big sub boss minion that comes, because boulders struggle with them. So it pairs super well with a Typhoon, a Mighty Wind, anything that's going to do a lot of front target damage, modified electric. That if you have one of those flame with the boulder, then you're sitting pretty. Boulders in A tier. Just, you're never going to be upset if you have a boulder in your board. Bounty. Bounty falls in the value class. It's not one that does a lot of damage. For instance, when you upgrade Bounty in the middle of a game, it only increases how much money you get. It does not increase the damage it does. And in fact, it actually just increases the money by 20. So a level 1 upgrade means you have to get 5 bounties to get back that 100 gold that you invested. Level 2, of course, would be 10 bounties, so on and so forth. However, bounty gives a ridiculous amount of money, and it gives the ability to stack that on the enemy's dice. So if you have a knight that's coming through, and your opponent has, 4 bounties on the board, you're making bank. It is absolutely ridiculous. In terms of raw value, it's hard to compare bounty with the tribute sacrifice. They've changed the name, so I don't know which one it is anymore. I just call it tribute. It's hard to compare, because when you merge the tributes, or the knight shuffles them, or somebody with royal shuffles them, you get the money. Bounty, however, rewards you a little more when you merge. You tend to get more money out of the bounty, and it prohibits them from wanting to use a certain die. You can have a 3-stack bounty on a Joker, and now they have to decide, am I going to give my opponent all this SP in order for me to use my Joker the way I want? What's the trade-off? They have to make the decision, and then you're rewarded for it. So bounty, I will put in the A category. It's strong in terms of getting you money. Opponents have to be really strong to not give you the money. The big thing is they have to have dice that just work well as a 1-pip. They have to have a flame, they have to have a blizzard, they have to have a typhoon, because those work well as a 1-pip. They're not punished if they don't use a merge or something like that on it. And even if they try, then a boss can come through and just punish them. You can get hit with a nuke, you can get hit with a shuffle, so on and so forth. So that's why bounties are A, because you're going to get the money. Sacrifice tribute, A as well. I'm just kidding. It's an S tier. That thing is so good. You're rewarded for merging. It's instant value as well, so sometimes you can just snowball a game out of control. It's you have a full board of it. When the knight shuffles, you get money. It's so good. It's absolutely ridiculous how good it is. It is the best value die. Arguably the best value die in the game. There is another one that competes with it, and we'll get to that one a little bit later. But yeah, if you see tribute or sacrifice, sometimes just having that die alone will win you the game, just because you win purely because you have more money. Like the opponents, they just can't do anything because you just have more pips, more damage, and you just run them out. Broken. A lot of people don't understand the value of broken. Good against bosses, not good against huge amounts of waves. However, it hits hard and it's really not that slow. I think it's 1 attack speed, and its base damage at class 7 is like 80, 90, 100, something like that. It actually hits really hard. Its target is random. That's the downside. So it hits a little harder for a random target, but when you're facing bosses, it's not bad. I like this one. This is often when I'm put against a couple of dice that deal attack damage and I'm trying to figure out which one. Broken's not a bad choice. Of course, it comes down to the drafts and everything, which is obviously something that we're going to cover later, but broken is good. I'm going to put it in the B category. Again, if you get a high enough pip, it's strong, kind of like atomic, but it's just not anything that you're going to prioritize over some of the A or S tiers. But a good dice. You're not disappointed with the broken. Clone. I want Clone to be good. I wish Clone was good. I wish Clone was great. I really do. It's such a cool concept for a die. It doesn't work. the game, how do you describe this? The game wants you to fill your board. You want to have a full board, maximum pip, damage, and everything. You don't want to leave empty spaces on your board if you can. The clone, you have to have empty spaces for it to clone a dice. And when it clones, clone would be cool if it was true to its name. It should just be like birth die, because it just creates a 1 pip. It does. You have a 4 pip clone, it's creating 1 pips. In late game, you can technically have a bunch of these. You have a couple 4 pips that are just knocking out 1 pip clones, so you're getting your value out of that. But it's slow. You're never going to get to that stage of a game in Arena when most matches end between the second and third boss. So this is C. Same thing with Absorb. It has a potential. It's just it doesn't do it. Combo is one of the strongest dice in the game, but not for Arena. What makes Combo good is building a deck around it. You do not get to build your decks. You don't get to pick your dice aside from, here's 3 choices. If you get Combo, please stay away from it, because what you need for Combo to be successful is you need Mimic, you need Joker, Summoner, and you're just not going to hit all those because it's just, look how many dice there are. There's 62 you can possibly get. If you're offered Combo, it is bait. Do not pick Combo. Cannot stress this enough. It is not a good die. Even though it's a legendary and it starts out class 7, it is garbage in the Arena. Plain and simple. Cracked Growth is really good. Another really good value die. Because Growth, this guy down here, is banned in Arena. Still not sure why they haven't put him back. But because Growth is banned and you can't get him, Cracked Growth is the next best thing. At class 7, I believe it is a 55 or a 58% chance to grow. So that sounds like 50-50, but actually it's higher. It's good. You roll the dice and you can get a 2 or a 3 pip. If you're lucky, it grows twice and you start out with a good 3 pip, whatever you want. And it's a solid dice. I would recommend picking it. If you had to choose between value dice and you had to choose between like a Crack Growth, a Bounty, a Sacrifice, you're picking, the other ones first, but Crack Growth can be one of those dice that just really give you that edge in a game. Again, if it grows up, you're good. If it grows down, it hurts, but the value lies in getting up to a 2 and a 3 pip early on. This is the Armor Break dice, which is awesome. It's just crack. This is Cracked Growth. This is the crack dice. The buff is so good on this dice. Granted, the buff was more for your co-op, your Solar Moon, your Solar Moon, Growth, Supplement, Crack, that sort of thing. It's super strong. The stacking debuff is really good, and it is the one thing that you want this for is if you have really good single target damage, this just annihilates bosses. Anything mixed with this just destroys bosses. If you have decent splash damage, it's hard to really use this in waves that are the minion waves as they come. So if you have like a flame die, it's really hard to make flame in the crack work until you get like a 4 or 5 pip later in the game, and it's just stacking it on everything as you're splashing it. But overall, this is just a good solid die. It will help. It's like a support. It'll help you do a lot of damage, and it's just great. It's just a great overall value. Just you have to make sure that you have a hard-hitting die with it, because that exponentially increases the value of the armor shred that it provides. Crit, and I'm just going to do this now. There was a person I was going back and forth with on Facebook, and we were talking about Arena and what to pick and so on and so forth. And somebody just asked a generic question. Hey, what do I do? And I showed him my first video. And one of the other guys, I told him, it's not so much automatic pick dice, because that's what a lot of people like to think. If you play any Arena game, they're like, oh yeah, in like Hearthstone or even Magic the Gathering, any game that has an Arena mode, they're going to tell you this is an auto pick. It's not the same with random dice, because there's so many different combos and synergies and things that you have to consider as you go through draft mode, but it does have some auto do not picks. And I think one of the auto do not picks is this guy right here. What you're seeing. Crack and Light. They're not legendaries, okay? So some people are like, oh yeah, but Moon is really good. Yes, Moon is good because Moon is a legendary. Class 7. Legendary is stronger than a Class 7. Rare. Plain and simple. Crit damage is based to 500% in Arena. So you're only increasing stuff by 5 times damage. So you're sacrificing a full die slot of damage, of value or whatever, for something that just gives you a higher chance to do 5 times the damage. It's just not worth it. Same thing with light. It's such a slow attack speed buff. Even early on, you have to dump so much into it. It's good at class 12 or 13, but even then, class 8 Moon does more. So these are my... If you want to do good consistently, you do not pick those 2 dice. Plain and simple. Your goal isn't always to try to hit that super high roll. Oh yeah, I got the deck of all decks. I'm going to take screenshots and throw it on Facebook, and people are going to bow before my RNG greatness. You don't need to do that. The whole idea of Arena is get your 6 wins minimum to get your value back. So what you paid it, your 150 to get in, you hit your 6 wins, your 7 wins, so you can at least say my 150 gems were worth it, and then anything past that is just increased value. Those 2, you're not consistent with them. I don't think I've ever lost a single match to somebody who's had one of those 2 dice in Arena. It's just not, they're not worth it. Crossbow. Crossbow's neat on paper. It's a cute idea. Even with the buff, it's still shit die. It's better than combo, but it's broken's better than this, right? Random targets on everything, as well as the bow shot. So its base attack is random. The bow shot is random. The increased damage from the bow shot is just not that great. It's just, it's not great. I don't like it. The amount of damage it spreads around, it seems good. Your DPS on it is higher, so it's okay for bosses, but Broken just does better. So if you had the choice between these 2, I would pick Broken every time. Death Die did get a buff. It's just not a good buff. Too inconsistent. You can't really pick all your synergies to make it okay. It's not even make it good, it's make it okay. This guy's going in the D slot. You don't pick Death thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to just start one-shotting stuff left and right. It's not good. You're going to fall behind on the board, and then even if you happen to insta-kill 1 dice, congrats, there's still 27 other ones over there that are just running through your base, or through your board, and you're just going to lose. Electric. At class 7 is not the strongest, but guess what? Its damage is very effective in terms of it's hitting the first target, and the splash damage that trickles, it's all okay. None of it's wasted, right? So it's not like the crossbow where it's like, oh yeah, I'm just going to hit random, and then all that damage that you're putting out, it doesn't really do anything. At least the electric, it's focused towards the front, which is the most important. You don't want to leak, obviously. So it's not terrible. I mean, you would pick electric over a combo, you would pick it over crossbow and clone, but you would still do like Broken, stuff like that over electric. So it's not terrible. I mean, you could literally get a crack growth, grow to a 3-pip electric, and be like, okay, I'm not mad. I'll take a 3-pip electric. But you grow into like a 3-pip absorb, you're going to cry a little bit. So that's why electric, I put them in the B tier. Not great, not terrible, just a good solid average die. I would think this is almost like on your graph, your median tower, just the most average tower. When you're looking at stuff, is it better than this tower? Is it worse than this tower? This is the compare tower. Electric it's just dead center. It's middle of the pack. It's not terrible. It's not great. It does good. Energy, same style. Just even if you can build a full deck around it, it still sucks. The SP gain that you get from it isn't great. Your money is better spent on towers and upgrading and getting pips versus holding it to increase the damage on this. It sucks. Fire Tower. Fire Tower is the best of the C's. Yeah, it's got splash damage in the front, but it doesn't do a lot of single target damage, so you're not going to really be burning bosses with it. It's not a super fast attacking tower. The splash radius isn't that great, but it still is better than some of the gimmicky towers that you have to build around. It's just a solid tower, but it's a C. It's not anything that's crazy and good. Flame. This tower is incredible. This is an S tier tower. It's very close to an auto pick. So the S tiers are like, it's almost an auto pick. You almost see it and say, I want that tower right now. I don't even see the other two choices. I see flame and I pick it, and yeah, it's good. It's maintenance, okay? And I'm saying this because I want to make the community a better place when we're playing it, and I don't try to be negative, and I don't try to bash people because everybody has their own skill level and stuff, but at some point in time, you have to be disappointed, because I know I am, when I join games, and it's in the arena, or it's in mirror match, and I'm like, oh man, this dude got flame. I am done. And then it extinguishes, and then they don't reignite it. And they got lit flames on the board. You have to know how to use this dice. If you're watching this video and you don't know how to use the flame dice, then you need to just go and read what every single dice does, because you clearly are missing the mark, and you need to know the dice before you start diving into a game mode like Arena, where you're going to drain your money, you're going to get 3 losses right away, and then the game is just going to eat you up and spit you out. You're going to get no value, have no fun, and then you just hate yourself and you quit playing, which is not cool. I want you guys to play. I want you to have fun. But flame, you got to know how to use flame, okay? And anybody who's wondering, you have a lit flame on the board. You don't have to wait for it to be extinguished, by the way. You can take just a smaller flame or a bigger flame. It doesn't matter the size of the flames. You just have to have at least one flame going. You hold it over another flame, and it reignites the flame. So it resets the shot count. Because right now it's like, what, 100 or 150, something like that, shots before it extinguishes itself. Well, if you have a lit flame, you can put it over that flame and you reignite it and you reset the shot count. The damage is super high. The splash is absolutely nutty. I've had games go in the arena, I've had 4 or 5 bosses through because we both had flame, or they had solar, I had flame, and it's a strong tower. It is so good. You see it, you use it. It's just incredible the amount of strength that you get out of a flame. And even a 1-pip flame hits like a truck. Higher pips burn faster, but hey, that's part of the game. You want to win, you gotta stay on top of it. You gotta be lighting them and igniting them, so on and so forth. So awesome guy. Flow's a hard one, because a lot of these fights come down to we both leak at the same time. I can't even tell you how many times I've had arena fights where we both leak at the same exact time, and it's the coin flip. Who lost? Oh, I lost. Flip. Who lost? Oh, you lost. It's the reverse Blizzard. Okay, you make your opponent's board go faster. Blizzard slows yours. Flow makes your opponents go faster. But it's not to the same level as Blizzard, because Blizzard attacks. Flow does not. Blizzard stacks. Flow stacks as well, but the slow from Blizzard is greater than the speed from Flow. The problem with Flow is, if your opponent's killing stuff immediately, you're not getting any value out of Flow. You can have 100 Flow on the board. If he's just popping them or she's popping them right away, you're not getting any value. So why put Flow out there? If it's the last die to pick in your board state, like you have 4 dice and it's down to Flow, Hell, or Shield, and you're just like, I mean, I have decent damage, I have a Typhoon, I have a Flame, I know I'm going to be pushing mobs at my opponent. Yeah, you can pick up a Flow and do well with it. But on its own, just to give it a raw tier rating, I'd have to put it in as a C. You're not going to be, ooh, yeah, I got Flow. But at the same time, if you have a good board state, Flow could be an A tier. But on its own, you have to build so much around it, and you have to be so good with your other 4 dice to warrant that last slot to just kind of be not necessarily a throwaway spot, but oh yeah, I can afford to put this in there. So that's why Flow is in C. Gamble. Oh, Gamble. Don't laugh at me. Gamble is that type of a tower. It's a gamble. So for those of you who don't know what Gamble does, the damage range of Gamble starts at a base value and goes up to your crit percent. So it starts, I think Class 7 starts at, I want to say 57, 77, something like that. It ends with a 7 because obviously gamble 7s. Woo. But that's where it starts. So every single shot it does, bloop, does random damage. It picks a number between the base damage, 77 or 57, to 500. It's great. You can high roll shot after shot, 200, 300. I mean, even if you go average, it's 200 and something. In game, when you upgrade this tower while you're playing the game and you're in battle, it upgrades that base level. So it just slides that scale up a little higher. So if you low roll, it doesn't hurt as bad. But most of the times you get gamble, you're not going to complain. And you don't even have to put a lot of SP in the game. You could put that money towards building more towers, upgrading another tower that needs it. Like Typhoon needs upgrades. Like it starts out at 26 damage or 20 damage or whatever it is. I don't know, mine's like class 9, so whatever class 7 damage is on its low. But every upgrade increases it by 30 damage, which is just absolutely asinine. It's so much damage. You don't have to put any money into gamble. That's what makes it a good die. You have a strong die without the necessity of dumping money into it. So it's an A. You see a gamble, pick it. It's a very strong dice. I mean, looking at this whole board, there are a very small amount of dice that can do 500 damage as fast as a gamble can. Granted, it's random, so even if you cut it in half and you go like 275 or whatever it is for 50 to 500 divided by 2, 275. A lot of these dice struggle to do 275 damage as quickly as it can. So it is a good die. It does a lot of damage, and a lot of people overlook gamble thinking, oh yeah, it's, it's regular class 7, blah, 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 it's a common. It's strong. You can get a lot of good. I've had a couple games where gamble just carried me. Very good. And if you get a crit on top of it, you get like a 300 hit, and then you get that crit, boom, you just pop 1,500 damage, and that's enough to clear a lot of health really fast, especially in some of those bosses. Gear. It's a good die. It's an A. It doesn't take much to make gear work, especially in arena, and here's why. You get a 1 pip gear, it will do a lot of damage, and it can chain. That 1 pip can be the chain that carries you through a 3, 4, 5, 6 chain gear. It buffs the damage. It's strong, and when you get more of them, it's even stronger. And on its own, even if you have 4 other dice that aren't that great, a gear can carry you 4 or 5 wins. Where it really shines is if you do get a joker with it. Then it's just absolutely bonkers. That thing's S tier with a joker because you're just making gears left and right, and it is popping. Everything that comes through, one shot. You're just killing it, right? High value. Sacrifice with gear. I mean, come on. Oh, let me merge these 2 1s, get money, make a 2 pip, and build a gear right next to it. And now all of a sudden you already have tempo, you're already sending mobs at your opponent, and they need another big opener like you just had to be good. So gear, really strong. Highly recommended. It's borderline S tier. However, the thing that keeps it out of the S tier is the fact that the crazy part of it is hitting the joker, the sacrifice, getting the higher value with it just skyrockets it. But on its own, it is an A tier die. It's a very good A tier die as well, by the way. Just want to adjust those a little bit, give a more accurate representation. The left side is the better, and the goes to the right. Gun. Gun is so cute. I want Gun to be so good so bad. Like, you guys don't understand. I am the biggest advocate for Gun. When Gun first came out, I had 40. Like the first day Gun came out, it was in my shop for 40,000 gold. And I was like, I'm getting Gun, plain and simple. Like, I'm getting it. And I farmed and farmed and farmed. I was doing co-ops with my wife. I was playing random people. I had it sitting on my lap at work, and I was just running, random builds just to try to gain ticket or cards after cards. It's just not good. I can't stress it enough. I want it to be good so bad. They've buffed it, and they've buffed it, and they've buffed it, and it just doesn't hit hard. It doesn't hit fast. The spread shot is nice, but it runs into the same issue. It's cute. It's a lot of damage at once, but it's not single target. It's not high value damage. I mean, Electric can shoot 3 targets in the front at once, and that is better than hitting 3 random targets with a 3 dot or a 3 pip shotgun. It's not great. I wish it was good. I will put it above Flame in the C category just because it technically does hit harder. It's a class 7 legendary versus a class 7 common. So it does have higher damage, and of course it feels good when you have like a 2 or 3 pip. It looks awesome. But it's not good for bosses. It's not high single target damage. It fails. I don't know. It's tough. I just wish it was better. Healing. Very undervalued, but not to the point to where it's like a sleeper amazing legendary or a sleeper amazing tower that people just, don't think about. You can win games just by healing the opponent's boss, the second boss that comes through, the third boss that's come through. You can win a game just for having healing, but you have to be really strong yourself to be able to do that. So in a lot of those instances, oh man, I can merge and I can just, if I heal their boss, then that's going to make me win. But you have to be in a state of power to where you can sacrifice that die slot for a support style like healing. And if you're already in that position, odds are you're already going to win anyway. You don't need the healing to do it. It's overkill. That's where healing kind of falls off for me. I think I've tried it a few times in Arena. I think I might have had just one game where we were evenly matched and my healing was the reason why I won, is because I did exactly that. I healed like the third or the fourth boss that was coming through. I hit it with a couple heals super early and it just gave me the ability, I don't know if it was like the Knight or Leon or Magician, something like that. It was a disruptive boss and I was able to keep it alive to disrupt their board and I was able to win. It's such a one-off situation in a consistent, I want to hit 6, 7, 8 win arenas. You're not going to do it. It's better than Flow, in my opinion. It's not even as good as Flow on its own. If you have, Mimic, it's stronger because then you have those merge potentials to heal. Same thing with Joker, but there's so many things that have to go right that unless you have Solar Typhoon, Joker, and then Mimic, okay, yeah, I'll pick up healing. Why not? It's one of those things. I mean, obviously you're not going to get offered it at the end. You're going to get it legendary offered, but still, you're not going to try to pick healing on your second or first or second pick and go, yeah, I'm going to make a healing deck and I'm going to hit 12 wins. It's just not going to happen. Hell, just like the other one, it can be good, but it's good and constructed in terms of like, I don't have a lot of legendaries, but I have a Mighty Wind and a Wind and a Typhoon, so I'm going to make a Hell deck and hit at least wave 30 to farm some cards. It's not good in Arena. You just can't consistently get a high attack speed die to make this worth it. And it's one of those games where it's one of those dice where if you do get it at like a 3 pip, like you merge you merge two 2 pip irons, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I got a 3 pip hell. Terrible. So I'm going to put this in C's right with the death one. Hey, Funky. I am class 18 currently. That's my rank in in normal ladder mode. I'm class 18 and I've got I think 7 or 8 12 win arena runs. I'd have to look at my little emblem. I know there was some of them that I got before the emblem stuff was given, but yeah, I do arenas all the time. In this game I do them in Hearthstone. I do them in any game where there's a pick from this list and go as far as you can. Gambit, that's my bread and butter. That's my favorite. So I do Hearthstone ones and I do this, which is good. My crit rate is just under 1,200%. I think I'm 1175, right? Or 1165, something like that right now. But yeah, so that's the Hell dice. Not the greatest. Not that good. Moving on to Holy Sword. The Holy Sword is percent-based damage, which is good. I mean, percent-based damage in any game is awesome. Anytime you see, oh, this does a percentage of the opponent's health, you have to immediately think, how can I manipulate that to give me the ability to use that percentage to go to 0, basically. Like, how do I get my enemy's health to 0 as fast as possible? Percentage-based damage is nice because it's reliable, because you know how much it's going to do every single time. It's going to do X percent. It's nice when you get the golden ones. You don't really need anything in terms of high power to make this die good, but it just doesn't, I mean, it's class 7, so it does okay, but it's not anything that you're going to be so excited when you see it. So I'm going to put it in the B tier. It's better than a lightning tower, in my opinion. It's better for bosses. It's just not to the same level as like gear is when you're looking at towers to do damage. Hack, just like assassin, but it actually hits decently hard. You can actually end a game if you're playing against an opponent who's not that great. You know, we've all seen them. You get the opponent that starts and they're like, I'm going to merge and I'm going to merge and I'm going to merge. And now all of a sudden they have like two pips and a 1 pip. And you're like, okay, well, I'm just going to hack your 2 pip. And now I just win because the 2 pip that you have does more damage than the other ones can do. And you just win the game. It's nice. It's one of the few dice. And the reason why I would say this is A tier, and I put it up with assassin, I actually think it's stronger than assassin. The reason why I would say it's A tier because of the next dice, which we're going to talk about, which is random growth. Random growth right now, and you can look at any Facebook group, any post on anybody talking about this. It's, oh my gosh, why is random growth allowed in Arena and regular growth is not? Well, regular growth is one of the dice that when the game first came out and they were looking at it, the win rate for growth itself was was so dumb. If you had growth and your opponent did not, the win rate was like 94%, 93%, something just atrocious. And people like myself, very early on, if you saw a growth, you just surrendered. There's nothing you can do. Give me 1 second. I got my little guy down. All right, sorry about that. So yeah, the random growth, a lot of people have the same feelings about random growth. However, there's a significant difference between random growth and regular growth. At class 7, it's like 49, almost 50 seconds, which is such a long time. It doesn't seem like a long time, but it is such a long time for that die to turn over. And it's a true RNG die. So what's the difference between growth and random growth in terms of true RNG and sort of a not so much true RNG, more like controlled or a educated, or sort of I know what the outcome of a growth is going to be, right? Whatever the pip is, +1, and it could be 1 in 5 chance. So 1 in 5 of the next die. Random growth is true 1 out of 35. You have 7 pips that it can choose from. That was 6. This is 7. And you have 5 different dice. That's 1 in 35. It could be anything. It could be another 1 pip random growth. It could be a star holy sword that got turned golden. You don't know what you're going to get. And that's kind of where the balance is with random growth and why it's loud in Arena. But at the same time, because of the state of the game and the fact that if you get one of these early on and it just rolls into a 6 pip landmine, you just win. There's no fighting back from it, right? So that goes into the S tier category, but this is an A tier because people who pick this and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna win. If you're a good player, which is hopefully what I'm going to help teach you to be, is you just wait. You can have 6 hacks on your board and you see that they have a random growth. Okay, well, if they don't fill their board, that increases the chance for you to hit that die once it changes. All of a sudden, boom, 5 pip gear off of the random growth. Cool, it's hacked. You just merge your hacks, and now all of a sudden, that die is hacked, and they don't have anything to change. They can't change that 5 pip. What are they going to merge? They have to get a 1 in 35 again to get another 5 pip gear to then merge it and get rid of the hack. And that 1 die is just going to kill or heal everything, and you just win. That's why the I-10 hack die is in the A tier, because you can literally do 1 merge and the game's over. And I've done it. I've 100% done it. I've had it done to me. When you're playing against a good player and they just get that super high roll. I think I had 14 pips on my board. And I hit like a 5 or a 6 pip. I can't remember. Maybe it was a Typhoon. I think it actually was a gear now that I'm saying it out loud. And it just, you fall so far behind. So that's why that die is really, really strong. Ice. In arena, ice can do good. And the reason being is because of bosses. A lot of arena matches, you ask anybody who plays arena, a lot of arena matches are lost during boss waves, right? And the reason why is because bosses are hard to kill. Arguably so. Much like Blizzard, how it can slow your dice, your dice, so that your opponents just leak faster than yours. Neither one of you are doing a good job. You're just doing a better bad job. And that's what ice can do against a boss. It can just slow the boss enough to where you can leak last. So for that, I'll put it in the C's because a lot of the bosses, like Knight that shuffles or a Basilisk, not necessarily the Knight so much, but the Basilisk and the Magician, so that's 2 bosses out of 5, it's not good to slow them. If it's the first boss that comes through and you're just slowing them, or it's the second boss and you're slowing them, you're going to leak it anyway. It's just destroying your board. Basilisk is spawning Leons, the Magician is nuking you, and you're just sitting in the corner crying, going, please go through faster, and your slow tower is just laughing at you, saying, I'm doing a good job, boss. I'm slowing it, boss, and you're just like, and you have no way to merge this 3-pip ice off your board, and it doesn't matter even if you did, because the boss is slow now. It can hurt you, but overall, if you see an ice, you're not picking it unless you have 0 CC and you just, oh, I got unlucky and I have to pick ice because I'm not picking crit or energy, which I 100% have done. I think I actually just did that the other day where I was like, this is the worst picks ever, and I had to pick ice. Iron, great for killing bosses. What do people lose to mostly? Bosses. Hits hard, double damage against bosses, and you get a 5 times crit on top of that. It does good. It's a B tier die. Sometimes it's better than Gamble, but I still overall would like Gamble more. But it hits harder than Atomic, so I'll take it. Joker, this goes without saying. If you don't know what the Joker does, then you should not be watching tutorials in Arena, because you need to know what the dice do first. Joker's pretty much it. It's a Joker. It's a wild card. It makes anything. It will exponentially increase the power of your deck. And exponentially, not multiplicatively. It won't just make your deck 2 times better. It is exponentially better because you can manipulate the RNG. So there's RNG and there's calculated risk. Joker turns my next purchase, my next merge, my 2 1-pips. I need to hit a hack. I need to hit a 2-pip hack. Well, if I merge 2 1-pips and I already have a 2-pip hack, I have a now 40% chance to hit a 2-pip hack, whereas normally it's a 20% chance. The odds are much better because 2 of the outcomes is a 2-pip hack. Plain and simple. It makes gear exponentially stronger because now you have a 40% chance to put a gear die in every single slot versus a 20% chance. It's just good. It's just a phenomenal die. It allows you to manipulate your solar count. It allows you to manipulate your lunar count. It allows you to do what you need to do, and it's the reason why almost every single deck, every single competitive deck in PvP, as well as every single deck in PvE, the co-op mode, uses Joker because it just is that. It's every die. It's your other 4 dice. It's so good. Yeah, you just pick it. Landmine. The nerf to Magician. So I did a video 8-9 months ago. And that video got some legs and got some steam, and over 5,000 and change people watched it, and a lot of people asked me to do this, so this is why I'm doing this. The Magician used to wipe the board, and this die was just awful. You would get landmine, and you were like, yeah, I'm building landmines, and the game's like, oh, well, here's Magician. And you're just like, oh, and you just cry in your hands because he would just wipe the board, and all your landmines were gone. It made that one boss made this die unplayable in Arena. But he doesn't do that anymore. Now it just does percentage damage against enemies, and it's just a strong die. It's one of those dice where if you have a strong attack die, if you have a flame die that's just mowing down enemies early on, you got a Typhoon that's just doing its job, gear that's just doing its job, or even a Blizzard that's just slowing enemies down, you're never not gaining value out of landmine. And that's what's awesome about it, is you can get an early, you can merge an early 2-pip or 3-pip landmine, and you're going to go, okay, that's fine. I mean, if it's my only die, I'm going to cry. But I'm a good player. I know how to manipulate my board state to where I'm not going to only have a 3-pip landmine. I'm going to wait to make a bigger die if I am running the risk of getting a landmine. But yeah, it's a solid die. I think it's better than Atomic, so I would put it up in the B category. If you get this off of random growth, good. You just got a 5-pip or a 6-pip landmine, and it's just going to do a lot of damage. And it's that cushion, it's that barrier, it's that safety net to where if me and my opponent both start leaking at the same time, I at least have something that can knock out a couple of those lead enemies, whereas he might not, or she might not. Laser, there's not much to say about Laser. It's a C class. It's not great. The line is super strong early, but, the boulder does a better job at killing enemies in a line. Flame does a better job at splash damage. There's so many towers that just do Laser's job better that it's underwhelming when you get a high pip Laser. You can get a 4-pip Laser and be like, yeah, and you're throwing lasers left and right, and you're like, but it's not doing anything. It just doesn't hit hard. Class 7 isn't a high enough class for that laser to actually scale with the enemy's health. It's just not good, and odds are you're never going to see 2 4-pips on your board, because matches end between the second and third boss more times than not. 64% of your matches end within the first 5 minutes. That's why Arena's fun, because you can roll out these matches versus Blizzard, Speed Tower, super slow fights right now that are going on in PvP, where people literally are walking away for 15 minutes and coming back to their phone and they're still in battle. Faster matches, this just doesn't scale well, and it's not good. Lock is decent. It actually shockingly hits pretty hard, and that freeze can save you against a boss. I'm putting it in the B tier. I actually had, in my last video I did, I have my 12-win deck that I was showing off. Wasn't flashy, it wasn't razzle-dazzle, but it had a lock in it. It had the lock tower, and I won, and it got me 12 wins. It's just a good tower. It hits hard. If you get a high pip of it, you're not complaining, because it can just lock an enemy in place. It can be the bane of your existence if you do not have good splash damage, because you're just locking towers, or you're locking enemies as the game's progressing. You're not actually killing anything. The next enemy that comes forward just gets locked, and then the next one passes it. So you're not gaining any money as you're killing, as you're stopping. So it can destroy you as well as it can save you on a boss. But overall, you're going to get more positive outcomes with a lock than negative. Ooh, silence dice, nice. That's very good, especially for events. So yeah, lock, put it in the B. If I have no other forms of CC, I might take it. Lunar, moon, whatever you call it, it's good. It's just really good. It's way better than these two combined. First of all, it's a legendary, so class 7 on a legendary is always better than a class 7 on the commons, like I said before. It's easy to manipulate your board state to get 2 or 3, or to get your 3, 5, or 7. It just makes any die better. Faster attack speed base, and then once you hit your parameters, your 3, 5, 7, crit damage, raw damage, and I believe crit chance as well. Just so good. There's games where you just win because you hit just a little bit harder, and you're killing enemies a little faster. Your boss has just that little bit less health. It's just a good die. I put it up in the A category. You're not going to be mad if you see it on your list. Transmog, Metastasis, whatever you call it. Again, I've played this game so long, and some of these dice names have changed as I played. It's okay. You're just sending bigger enemies at your opponent. There's times where you come out of the second boss and you have a couple of these stored up, and then as soon as the minions start coming in faster fashion, then boom, 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 you're hitting them, right? And you're sending them. Or you send them right before the boss spawns, so that way the boss has a little bit of movement to do. They have to attack this first, and maybe that helps you get a Leon attack off. You know, if it's the first boss and you think they're going to hit it and kill it before they can get their ability off, you send one of these in to absorb some of those first hits. It's good, but it's not consistent. So I would put it in the C category. I'd put it up by like laser. I don't think it's great. It's awesome in co-op, but it's just in arena it's not that good. Mighty Wind. I love Mighty Wind. Very near and dear to my heart. When I first played this game, my wife and I played it. This was the tower. You got a 4-pip Mighty Wind, and you were like Cloud 9, like, woo, yeah, I'm gonna maybe beat the knight, and you never did. But it's a good tower. It's strong. It hits fast. It hits hard. And even at class 7, since it's a unique, it is pretty good. It's better than a lightning. I would even put it up, you know, past broken, even past atomic. It's a good tower. You're going to be happy if you are offered Mighty Wind. Mimic. So Joker can be anything. Mimic can merge with anything. It has the same value of Joker when it's a merge bonus tower. What that means is a sacrifice. A merge bonus is anything that happens when you merge. Sacrifice, assassin, hack, bounty, stuff that does positive things, summoner, when you merge. But it cannot copy things. So its base damage is okay. So you're not mad when you have one early on. But if you don't have any towers to merge with it, it's just not that good. But it can get you out of some sticky situations from time to time. So I'll put it up above the lightning tower. It's a B tier. It's great because there's a lot of merge, you know, royal stuff that can do good things when merged, but it's not. If you don't have those dice, the value of that significantly plummets. Mine, another gimmicky tower that's good for support in the game, but it just, at class 7, the value, the speed of it is so low that you're dead before you can use the money. You would have, like, a 1-pip's going to give you 3, like, every 11 seconds or something like that. And you just, what are you going to do with 3 SP? Nothing. You would need, to just build the very first tower, you would need 44 seconds to do 4 of those, and it's not good. You need to kill stuff. Killing stuff gives you money faster than what this will do, so it just sucks. Don't pick it. Modified electric. So the tower is incredible, right? Crew battle, you see these things everywhere paired with atomic. Even in co-op, you saw them for a while when they had that huge buff. But it's hard because you need, it's exponential value, right? So a 1-pip just hits 1 target. 2 pips hit 2 targets. So that's double the growth. 3 pips hit 3 targets. So that's, as it grows higher, it deals, not only does it attack faster because the pip count is higher, but it chains to more enemies. So it deals more damage. So this is a true exponential growth. However, unless you have a high value generating die with it, sacrifice, bounty, growth, crack growth, unless you have any of those, you're not going to get a high enough pip to get a strong version of modified electric. You might only get up to 3 pips on a tower, and it's good at 3 pips, but you know it's a 1 in 5 chance to hit a 3-pip on it. So it's in the B category. I would rather have a landmine over a modified electric, personally, but I would rather have a modified electric over, I would rather have a mighty wind over that as well. This immediately turns into an A and a possible S tier if you have more than 1 value generator. If you have random growth and sacrifice, and they offer you modified electric, you're like, yes, why would I not do that? Like, I'm going to grow, my value is going to be so high, I'm going to get 4, 5, 6, 7, pip modified electrics, and it's just so good. Nukes can win you the game, but they're inconsistent, and you hate having a nuke when it's on its own. Like if you roll a 4-pip nuke, you're just crying because you're never going to get a 4-pip to merge with it, and it just doesn't do a lot of single target damage or splash damage. Poison, I would put poison in the C category. Class 7, it only does 25 tick damage, so it's not anything that's like, let me just get like a 3-pip and it's just going to kill every single enemy as it spawns. But it is consistently doing that level of damage. So when you get poison, you have to look at the attacks, because it's always going to attack the furthest ahead target without poison. So if you have a 1-pip, your enemies are going to spawn too fast, you're not going to poison everything. If you have a 2-pip, you're going to stay consistent with it. But you need to make sure that your poisons are attacking alternate so they can hit the next target that spawns with the poison. If your 2 poisons are attacking the same target, you got to merge them, you got to get rid of one, and you got to try to get that poison to spread correctly. It can be a game winner for people to thin out HP bars so the bosses have less health. Also, if you don't have a lot of front target damage, like frontline damage, it can be enough to whittle them down so that you're finishing them off well. Like they're soft enough by the time they get to the front that they're taking damage. So it's a C because you need a high enough pip to really spread the damage, or you just need multiple of them. But after the dot tick, the actual attack itself is not that great. Royal is a hard one because it's so good in PvP. And the base damage on it's nutty. I think it's 100 damage at class 7. So it does hit hard. You're not mad if you get a higher pip version of it. The downside to Royal is you might make your opponent's board better because the type of dice that people pick in Arena. You want to pick your value dice. You want to pick your random gross. You want to pick your sacrifices. Why are you running? I'll explain that here in a second. Let me finish with Royal and I'll explain combo. The Royal can be great if you run into an opponent running Yin Yang, or they have a Typhoon or something and you're trying to, roll them off of it. Solar is a very popular die in Arena. People pick it. So it can be very good. In this current meta, though, it's hard because shuffling Solars, Yin Yangs, Typhoons away, Gears is strong, but people are also picking stuff that they want you to shuffle, like Bounty or like Sacrifice. They want you to, roll into an Assassin, so on and so forth. So this is B because it does at least hit really hard, and I would say it is better than like Mighty Wind, but it's not quite A tier. It won't just win you the games for having it, and that's kind of what A and S tiers are. Is this gets you to your 8 wins. You can do good with Royal, but it's just not something that's super crazy. So, combo. Yeah, let's talk combo real fast. I did that one super early on, so if you're just joining now, you probably don't know. This is for Arena. The problem with combo is you need a high combo number for them to hit hard, as well as it needs to have the support. You need the jokers, you need the mimics, you need the summoner, you need sacrifice, you need something to give you the ability to mass produce these and merge them so that they have high value. Yes, combo is arguably the strongest die in the game. I love it. I run combo myself with some co-op if I want to have fun with it, if I don't want to turn my brain off. But no, not all game modes. If I want to turn my brain off and co-op, I'll do a Yin Yang build and then just walk away and hit my wave 43 or 55, whichever one. But in Arena combo, it's not reliable. And the goal is with this is I want people to get their money back. I want you to hit that 6 wins with your 150 investment, with your 5,000 gold to buy the Arena ticket investment. I want you to get that money back. The whole reason to do Arena is I pay a lot up front because I'm betting on myself to give me more value than the 150 I gave. And combo is not going to do that reliably. And that's why. By the way, I'm going to keep going, though. If you do want to know more, please, by all means, if you have any questions about any of the dice you already see, let me know. We also are going to upload this to YouTube later and have the full rundown as well. Scope just got a huge buff. Let's talk about the scope buff. If you don't know, scope just got changed to where now when it procs an extra attack, it procs an attack based off its pip. So 1 pip gives you 1 extra attack, a 2 pip gives you 2 extra attacks. But it also increases the crit chance for that extra attack. So you're applying a crit chance buff on top of a extra damage buff. The downside to scope is it does zilch on a single target boss, which still pisses me off. How are you not allowing me to just proc an extra attack, even if it's a single target? I don't know. I don't think that would be ridiculously overpowered. I think that that would make it actually to the power level of like a moon. It gives people another option of a moon. But yeah, it is so good in Arena that this is one of those that if you have any attack die linked to it, you're winning, plain and simple. So it's in the A tier. It would be instant S tier if it procced on single target bosses. It does not. Oh my god, don't I wish it did. Shield, wall, whatever you call it, barrier. It's a good tower. It's not great. It's not flashy. It drops a wall. It's inconsistent. But overall, it sometimes they actually increase the AI of it. I don't know if you guys were, whoever's watching this, if you're around for the original wall. It was 1,000% random. It would literally pick a spot on the board and it would throw a wall. What was funny is it would pick like behind the spawn. You would throw a wall behind the spawn and you were like, come on now. It's not doing anything. Or all the enemies are at the front and you're throwing it at the back. All the enemies are at the back and you're throwing it at the front. This at least aims it towards the front line of enemies more consistently. Not all the time, just more consistent. Kind of like they changed the way Star Shower works. The stars used to hit pure random, and now they're at least focused a little bit towards the front. It's okay. It's right along the same power of Lock, but it's a class 7, so the damage is higher. Upgrading it in game increases the damage, I believe, by 10 or 20, and it increases the shield's duration by 0.1. So you're not out anything, throwing a point in there. It'll hold the wall a little longer, and you can actually just win because you stopped a Leon from charging where your opponent didn't, and he leaked first and you did not. And you won. Cool. But consistently, there's just better CC towers to pick. Silence is another one of those gimmicky guys. Silence is only good if your opponent sucks. That's silence. If your opponent's just an auto merger, which I've played a lot of auto mergers, where they just start putting stuff together, it's good because they'll have a 4 pip and you have a chance to lock it out for 10 seconds. That sounds great. Boss comes, lock it off for 10 seconds, you're good. Overall, though, you're not going to face in the higher wins of Arena, you're not going to face somebody that's going to it's just not going to do you very good. I'm going to guess what your question is just because I'm not sure exactly what you're asking. My class is 18. I have like 7,700 or 7,400 in-game trophies right now. I don't do a lot of the PvP. I did for a while, hit my high ranks just so my co-op I would get more out of the chests. After they changed it, I've been playing a lot in terms of just, I like to run my assassin deck. But yeah, I'm class 18 right now. Multiple 12-win runs. I've played this game since, God, what was it? I think there was like 30 some dice, 40 some dice. I played it since it first came out. My wife and I play it a lot. So I've played this for a long time. It's a phenomenal game. It's super fun. And I will probably play it for a very long time as well. Solar. I mean, it's easy to manipulate your board state to get all 7. It's just so good. It's one of those that you see solar, you pick solar. It deals an insane amount of damage. It scales its damage as you're hitting the same target over and over. So the more times you hit the same target, I think it's every 2 hits increases the damage that it does to the target. Huge Splash does great against bosses, does great against ads. It's one of those towers that you get and you can win just because you have a solar. That's why it's an S tier tower. Speed is neat, but you have to build CC around it. If you don't have any crowd control, you don't have a blizzard, you don't have a wall, you don't have a lock, even an ice tower for some of the bosses, it just doesn't do that great. Thank you for following. I appreciate it. So the thing that I do like about it is it hits decently hard. It doesn't attack super fast, but it synergizes so good with any sort of CC, and it is a unique, so it will deal damage. It will deal damage, and that's what you want to do. You want to kill stuff. So if you can synergize a CC with it, it's just exponentially better. Because I think it's like at class 7, it's 4% damage increase after based off of the opponent's speed. It does help with some of those fast runners. It does deal a lot of damage against them, but yeah, it's a good tower. Star Shower, it's just inconsistent. It's so hard not to put this in D because you have to build a deck around this. If not, you're just not getting a good tower. I mean, it's a single target tower. You're better off picking Flame at that point. Too inconsistent. You're not getting, nukes are better because you can at least merge them and get something out of them. So I got to put this at the front of the Ds. You have to build too much around it, and a lot of the towers that you need, most notably Joker, are usually offered in the same pool at the same time as Star is. So you're picking between the two instead of picking one and then picking the other. So Star, you're a D. Summoner, A. Even on its own, you can just merge them. It's just free value. And in a game like Arena Mode, that's a war of attrition. You just want value. If you get more value with it, like a Mimic or a Joker or a Sacrifice, obviously that scales it so high. But with that, you don't have, there's no downside, right? So even if you get like a 3-pip Summoner, well, there's a chance with a Summoner, you're going to get up to a 3-pip, and you can merge those two and possibly have a higher chance at a 2-pip coming out of it. You're not mad at a higher pip on a Summoner because you can climb that ladder to get more out of it. So Summoner is an A. It's just a good tower. A tower like Nutriment, Supplement, whatever it's called. Again, I've played forever and the names change so much on some of these. It's good. It's better when you can choose what it goes into. It's the dominant reason why Yin Yang works so well. It's also really strong with solar. But it's just in Arena, you can just turn this into a good tower. So it's kind of like a Joker in terms of you can make it better. You can make your Joker into whatever you want, but you can turn a good tower into a higher pip version of the good tower. Because if you have a 2-pip gear and a 2-pip nutriment, or let me rephrase that. If you have two 2-pip gears and you merge them into a 3-pip gear, you technically lost 1 pip of gear, right? So you took 4 and you made it into a 3 value. So the 1 pip you lost was a net gain minus 1 pip. But if you have a 2-pip gear and a 2-pip nutriment, supplement, whatever you call it, and you put that on there, now you got a net gain 1 gear for losing 2 pips supplement, and 1 pip gear is stronger than 2 pips supplement. And that's how you have to use your brain every single time you use a supplement. I'm going to turn this into this. Is that a positive gain? Does that help me? Yes or no? And usually into an attack die, it's a yes. The answer is usually yes. So it's good. I mean, you can put it into any die that you want to deal damage, and it's going to deal damage, and even more. Swamp, the pools are smarter, much like walls and the stars. They've increased the AI on that. The pools are smarter. The problem with Swamp is, versus like Blizzard, is Swamp, its attack target is random. It's fast, it attacks fast, it's low damage, fast attack speed, but its target is random. So the damage it's doing is so negligible when you have a full wave of mobs coming, that you're using it only for the CC. So to rate it purely on CC, yeah, it can sometimes win you the game because, again, between the second and third boss is the most time people lose, and it's not doing a terrible job of slowing the enemies, but it's also not doing a great job of damaging the enemies. In terms of CC, there are better options. I still think it does more damage than like the crowd control alone is what makes you win games from time to time. So it's not the end of the world. Switch, again, it's great if you have a gear, but it does good damage. It's just a strong tower. I don't know if you looked at it. I think the class 7 base damage on that is like 80. And it attacks decently fast, so it's good. It can help you dodge assassins. It can help you, get your gears in line. But again, those are synergies. You have to have the other ones offered, or you have to pick this and get the other ones to make it work very well. But on its own, it deals decent damage. You're not going to be, super excited if you have it, but you're not going to cry. It's a C tier. Okay, teleport. And I'm going to tell you why teleport's an A tier tower. And you're going to go, well, you just told me it was A tier and I already don't believe you, but let's hear why. This is why this tower is A tier. Because most games you're going to have a bunch of 1 or 2 pips, sometimes 3. Again, most of these games go fast. There's two things that make teleport really good, and a third thing that's just kind of the icing on that double layered cake. One, they made it to where the absorb that happens, so when you hit with teleport and it goes and it sucks that enemy in, you get money for that. But here's the kicker. Your opponent does not get a spawn. I don't know if you noticed this, but when you kill enemies, they spawn on your opponent's side. When they kill an enemy, it spawns on your side. There is a set timer of, I will spawn an enemy at this time. It's faster as the round progresses. But when you absorb an enemy, it does not spawn on your opponent's board, but you do get money. So you're already winning war of attrition there. You're getting more money than your opponent. That gives you a leg up. Second, you can just fill your board. Just start building 1 pips, build 2 pips. You don't have a growth that's going to pull a 4 pip and then all of a sudden now you have a 4 pip that has 20 enemies in it, and you're staring down a knight coming and going, I don't have any way to get this 4 pip to attack my enemy, because with those you have to merge them and then all the minions spawn on your opponent. I have seen many times where I just merge even 2 1 pips and send 7 enemies to my opponent during a boss wave, or Leon spawns. Okay, well, here's Leon and 7 enemies, and you just lose because you have too much single target. You don't have enough splash damage, or it's just early on and I absorbed 70 SP from you because I took those away and you never got a chance to use that money and you fell behind. So you were killing enemies slower, so more enemies stayed on the board, so you lost an extra 40, 50, 60 SP there. So now all of a sudden you're 2-3 pips behind me. You just can't deal with the board and you lose. And that has happened for me a few times. I just ran one where I think I got 9, or no, the one that I ran with teleport, I had teleport, and I had teleport, iron, poison, joker, and I don't know what my last one was. I want to say crack. I don't know. I can't remember what my last die was, but I got 10 wins. And I had, nothing crazy. I had iron that was doing damage, and all it was because I just manipulated the board state of my opponent in terms of just, here's a wave of enemies you can't deal with, I win. That's an A tier, but it's a high level of difficulty A tier. You have to be a smart player in order to use it to its full potential. Thorns. When Thorns... Hey, Chase, can I get a little bit of water? Can you bring me some water? I appreciate it. My throat's killing me. When Thorn got buffed, this tower was nutty. It got dialed back, which is fine because it was super overtuned when it was It went from, oh, that's kind of a cool tower, to this thing is God, down to, okay, it feels very balanced now. It's not amazing because A, the traps are inconsistent, and it doesn't do great against bosses at all, and bosses are what kill you in arena, but it will deal more damage than, like, a flame tower will and stuff. So this is in the C's. At class 7, it's not great. I shouldn't even have to waste my time with time, but I will. It's a D tier. If you get a 2-pip, you'd rather have a 2-pip that's doing damage. If you get a 1-pip, you're not slow. Like, at class 7, it's just not slowing enough to where it's going to impact the game. I think I had one guy literally slow, like, all of my towers. He had a 1, 2, and a 3-pip, and I won anyway because he just couldn't kill stuff fast enough. You can slow my towers, but if you're not sending enemies, you're not pressuring me, so my towers don't need to attack fast because I'm not having to kill that many stuff, or that many things. Toxic, I'm going to put in B. It's great for wave manipulation. It hits really hard and can crit. Thank you so much, sir. And it can crit, which is cool. It does nothing against bosses, really. The only one it does is, Snake or Basilisk, but you don't get that tower for the bosses. You manipulate your board state. You say, okay, I have a Toxic. I only want 2 pips. I only want 3 pips of Toxic. Any more than that, I'm merging them away, and I'm pushing towards the stuff that I know is going to carry a boss fight. I'm pushing towards my broken, my mighty ones, my Typhoons, my Solars, my other things. If you have a Toxic, you don't need to upgrade it. 100, I think each upgrade's like 50 damage ticks. It's not a tower that you need to upgrade. It's just going to do a decent amount of damage. So yeah, you can pick a Toxic and be like, okay, I have good wave, I have good AoE. Now I can pick the rest of my dice around single target. And that's the value of a die like Toxic. It's not just the AoE it does. It's the knowledge that you have going into the rest of your picks. It pushes you in a direction that you want to be pushed. You're not going to pick later going, oh no, I still don't have AoE. What do I do? That sort of scenario. So that's where, and that in game, you don't have to spend SP to make that tower really strong. Typhoon. I mean, obviously, if you have any doubts that it's not an S tier, then you need to get your brain checked. It's class 7, so the base damage isn't that high, but every upgrade in game is 30 damage more. Really good. And it's cycles, so attacks really fast. If you pair it with a scope, if you pair it with lunar, anything like that, it's just really strong. And then the second cycle, which is it attacks fast and guarantees crit. That's 5 times the damage. Yeah, it's good. It's great for bosses. It's absolutely phenomenal for any single target. The big mini bosses that come through, it deals a lot of damage to them. But again, you can pick around that die. You have AoE, you have your single target, you have your value. A Typhoon is a die that will just win you games. You just, oh, my opponent has Typhoon, I lose. That's just how good of a die that is. Even after it got nerfed into the toilet, then they brought it out a little bit and kind of wiped the shit stains off of it. It is a good die. Wave, another one of those dies you pick because you know you're going to get a good AoE die out of it. Wave is a strong die. You can win games because you have the AoE killing potential of Wave. The downside, and the reason why I would put it at the end of A and not at the beginning of B, is it can win you games, but you have to have a higher pip count for it to really shine. If you have a 3 or 4 pip and you let that the full timer, I think it's every 10 seconds, it increases the AoE splash and damage, the AoE radius. If you get it to its max, it slaps hard. Even single target, it does good damage against a boss. That's not a negative. You don't have any really downsides to it. The problem with it is a lot of people will get a 1 pip and they're like, yeah, it's doing great. And then after the first boss, they're like, yeah, it's kind of hitting sometimes. It's not really doing a lot of damage. The damage does fall off. You do have to keep the pips high on it. but it can carry a game, especially if you have a good handful of them. That AoE just allows you to splash enemies down, send a lot of enemies at your opponent, and you just win because you can keep their board fuller than yours. So it's good. Wind is very weak. Even the single target version of this, this die was great for the Santa event with the silence die, but it is a very, very weak tower in terms of just actual raw damage. First of all, upgrading it increases the damage a little bit and the attack speed, but class 7, it doesn't attack really fast, and it's just weak. So I would put it in C tier. It's better than like a healing. It's just not great. Yin Yang. Oh, Yin Yang. Yin Yang. Listen, in Arena, it can win you the game. And in Arena, it can lose you the game. You might chase the Harmony and just die. And if you don't have the support for it, you just lose, right? But because the way Arena works and the fact that it's a legendary, so class 7 is pretty strong, you have a lot of lower pips. You could literally have a 1 or a 2 pip be the only thing that's harmonized, just a 1 or a 2 pip, and you just win because your opponent is just not strong. They're not running a full synergized chosen deck. So this guy goes towards the front of the bees, depending on the synergies you have, because the good news, or the good thing about this, and I'm going to put it at the back of the A's. You guys talk me into it, and here's why. It's a legendary, so you're not offered it right away. You're offered other stuff first, and you might have a sacrifice, or a tribute, you might have a bounty, and you know that you're going to have decent value. So then you go, okay, I have the value to support a Yin Yang. I can pick that, and I can do good with it, because all you don't need a full board of Yin Yang. That's the thing in Arena. You don't need a full board. It's not PvP, it's not co-op, it's not PvP. It's Arena. So all you need to do is just get that vertical and that horizontal, and you win. And it's easy to do when you have good value and the fact that you're just buying a lot of low pip dice. You're running 1s and 2s with some 3s sprinkled in there, and rare chance you get a 4. That's how it's done. So Yin Yang I would put in as an A. Yeah, that's it. That's